Hello, everyone. Welcome to the thing Energy Talks up here now. And so, this is going to be the interesting highlight of this whole event is this round circle. Seeing my friends talk about round table discussions a lot, like the Knights of the Round Table. We're all here nights tonight around the round table. We do have this amazing crowd that's, I think, been together like somewhat in pieces before, but not like this, which is the Ether Force crowd. And we're all proponents of the nefarious ether theory, and we geek out quite a bit. People usually don't get to see this aspect of reality, and so it's a sort of like two-part thing, unless just geeking out about these really far-out ideas, and it's pretty fun. And at the same time, questions. We'll go anywhere. There are no boundaries to this conversation. And so the principal concept is the here and the now. What I mean by when I say here and now? What is happening right here in this space, right now, in time, on planet Earth, and it is going everywhere. There's quite a story at hand. And the story is interwoven with science, with art, and with philosophy. And so, without further ado, Ether Force team, and how we say like a little piece about like who we are, what we do, who we're all involved, something with the internet. And if anyone else feels inclined to like introduce themselves briefly, and share maybe what you're doing to help make this world more interesting, dynamic, and loving, then feel free. But otherwise, we'll start over here with Joe Dubs. And Joe and Caleb flew in from Colorado for this event, and so thank you guys for coming out.
I'm Joe Dubs. I focus on sacred geometry and the structure of the universe and how your existence is not a coincidence, it's not an accident. You have purpose here. You are a divine being. Everything is not just coincidence. And, that's how science interprets it. It's all just one big coincidence. And I'm trying to prove that that's not correct. And there's a lot of math involved, there's a lot of geometry. But that's what I'm here to do.
So Joe is a brilliant artist, and he has his own website, and he makes cosmic creations. He correlates the music of spheres into the patterns of geometry, into geomancy, into just number patterns, math, anything. He's like the cosmic coincidence guy. And so check him out, cosmiccreations.com, joedubs.com, and Cosmic Creations on Facebook. And he's a brilliant guy. You really got to get yourself some Joe Dubs.
You're supposed to talk about yourself. Caleb is a brilliant researcher, scientist, overall humanitarian, great human being, looking to help save the world, but doing his part to do what he can to save the world. I'm just speaking on it, I'm just being honest. Why don't you give it a short, more intro about for your
Yeah, I guess I did a little talk. I'm into everything. I'm into the big picture. I believe that you can't just focus on one specific thing in order to get the big picture. In order to get the big picture, there's this holistic worldview. That means whole, everything. So I like to go into any different research topic I can think about and go as deep as I can possibly get there, and end up learning how to pioneer new information and new research as much as possible. Because it's kind of funny. Once you get to a certain point, you realize, you go through your life thinking there are really, really smart people out there that have a handle on everything. Oh yeah, they got it figured out. These doctors probably know what they're talking about. These quantum physicists, they're good. I'll never be as smart as a Swami or something. So it's not even worth it. I'll just, well, if you go do their math and go through their theories, you realize real quickly that they don't know what they're talking about, and they're not the smartest people. And we all sit here thinking, okay, it's like a religion almost, as far as all these different modalities. I keep seeing patterns. I see patterns in like health. If you go down the health, like healing and naturopathy and Chinese medicine and herbology, all of them. Not just look at one, just go deep and look at all of them. A whole different picture emerges that also emerges if you go down the other rabbit holes as well. Science, technology. It always seems to be the same story, the same patterns, and it starts to come together. And I think it's really cool to go down and check all these individual things out, put the pieces together, and I'm just passionate about. I'm passionate. I don't need answers. I'm not like an extremist. I'm not in it to gain something from my ego, so that I can be like, oh, I'm the forefront of this, and I'm, when I talk about myself, it's humbling because I believe we're all basically the same thing. And I don't think we should ever take credit where I am, pioneering this new thing. We all are working together. We all have pieces to bring to the table. Some of us know more than others just because they look at information where it doesn't make anybody better or worse or any of that type of stuff. But at the same time, there aren't those people out there doing what we think they're doing, so somebody's got to do it. And the people are passionate. And I think that's all we are up here, is the most passionate to try to work together. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, the whole premise of what I do is just to help, just to be a part of something that matters, something that isn't just sports or just putting my energy into who knows what else it could be. It's something that matters, something that we're taking it somewhere. It's like, and it's like you just follow your heart, and it's not even a question of me wanting to do it. It's what I do, just because I like it. It's fun, it's passionate.
You gotta follow your heart. And that's pretty much what I've done for the last 8 years. I've followed my art my whole life. My name is Jason Verbelli, and I'm just a free thinker. I experiment for myself, and I try to solve the biggest mysteries that the biggest, baddest scientists are trying to solve with their billions of dollars. I want to know about it. I want to figure it out too. I don't have the billions, but I think I can understand it just as well as they can, but from a different perspective. I don't care if you're a mechanic, you're a doctor, or what it is you do. Even Buddhists say if you stare at a spot on the wall for 8 years straight, you can probably figure out the entire universe from that. If you dedicate yourself to one thing, you're going to be a master of it. Well, someday, maybe 20 years from now, I hope to become a master of this type of information and apply it, hopefully before then. But I really want to be able to explain what electricity is someday. What it is, give it a form, give it a name, and not some anomalous thing, or be able to solve an ancient mystery or some puzzle that has always plagued people's minds and nobody can figure out. I've always wanted to try to figure the toughest stuff out. Unfortunately, without getting a lot of the basics first, I just try to leap right to the hard stuff. But in doing that, it sort of teaches you all that stuff along the way. So I just try to look at things from what they are, get back to the root of how things actually came to be, question the people who seem to be on the highest pedestal right now, and look at things for yourself. And when you do that, you'll probably find more contradictions and come to your own conclusions. Okay, what do you want to do with that? Bruce Lee said, knowledge is not enough, you must apply. Willing is not enough, you must do. So just because you learn the information, you're acquiring and talking to it about your friends, first step, excellent. Now what you need to do about it. Be about it, don't just talk whatever it is. So try to see things for your own perspective, question the people, whatever it is, and that's what I'm trying to do, is just make things easily explainable and do the impossible, make all that esoteric magic and ether and all that weird stuff real, and so we can use it. Like, whatever it is. That people call the esoteric the nonsense, it's not nonsense, there is sense to it, and it can be explained. Even death, even afterlife, I think all of that can be explained if you have the right information. It's not something that is not testable or intangible. We can really explain this stuff. If we concentrate on it long enough, have ongoing conversations, it's going to happen. I think we're at this point now, as humanity, this group here, and even as people who are looking at this type of stuff, I think we're on the verge of finally getting somewhere with this. Hundreds of years people have talked about it, now we're finally getting somewhere with it because we're acknowledging these other people's perspectives. So it's kind of
So, I have an interesting perspective when it comes to reality, in that if you've ever read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think someone was wearing a hitchhiker shirt tonight. I was pretty serious before that point in my life. I was all about like save the world, save the world, save the world. And it shifted into this playfulness, and that one of the things that has hindered free energy from coming forth on this planet is our perception and how we go about our reality and the tools in front of us. And that this, you could say, is a double-edged sword. It can be used by a white wizard, or it can be used by a dark necromancer, you know. But there is this story at play, and we get consumed by the story every day. So this is what the Wachowski brothers talked about in The Matrix, and that we get so absolutely consumed in the story. That's not necessarily a bad thing, and that you can have a lot of fun with the story. And so, like, I'm saying my perception is different. It's like, yeah, you can call it like we're trying to save the world, but it's more of like, hey, how can we make this story really fun and also make everyone really happy in the story at the same time? And so what I'm even talking about is like a little bit of deconstruction to our reality, simplifying it, in that the seriousness in our reality is what has been causing so much of it to fall apart. Because the seriousness leads to fear, leads to insecurity. And right now, so since 2012, the energy has been increasing. Before 2012, this was to me a piece of art. Since 2012, not only has our consciousness expanded, our bodies evolved, but the actual background flow of chi, it's like increasing every day. And so I was talking about like mana in my discussion, there's more juice, there's more manifestation abilities at our fingertips. But that also means it can go in both directions. And so that's where is your being, where is your perception, where is it going? Because free energy, if you have a ton of energy, you can go in either direction with it still. Money in our reality is our current energy. It's our current currency of energy. And it can go in both directions. People use it in both directions all the time. And that there is this level of responsibility with it. And so, not as being an independent researcher, I've strongly focused on balancing the different aspects of information and perceptions. So I was talking about the artist, the philosopher, the scientist, and that there's the social sciences with the sciences, and how much that sometimes is separated from the two, but they're so interwoven in that for science to even exist, you need a human or observer to participate in the process of engaging in science. And so it's like there's an internal and an external aspect to the system, that it's really important to have those two in balance. And so that's been crucial for me over the years with teaching science, is how do we teach in balance? How do we actually teach holistically? Because when we teach holistically, you communicate with every part of the human being. And yeah, I'm Gregor, by the way. I'm the gallery director here at Pfieffer Gallery. We're doing some pretty awesome things. We're part of the Mobile Mystics Network, which is looking at launching platforms also in Boulder, Denver area, Asheville, North Carolina, and Costa Rica. And it's creating a network of these free thinkers. And there's free thinkers outside this field of the ether force. There's free thinkers here and right now present in other groups. And free thinkers are people who are, you got rid of your blocks. And so like, I will argue concave Earth to the end of the day right now. But if someone wants to like challenge me and drop a fact, I can change it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I can let go of it. And that's what makes a free thinker, is you can stand your ground with what you believe, at the same time you can let it go in a drop of a hat. And at any moment something could happen right now, and all reality can change. And sometimes people are so shocked because it goes against their perception. With me, it's like, well, that just happened, adapt. That's what's being a Jedi. That's really like stepping into your power, is being able to adapt to situations. So I hope you're adapting to this type of conversation.
My name is Jeremy Pfieffer, and I live up the street, or down the street at Laguna Beach, and so it's kind of been really nice for me to just, good little John over here to meet people from, have come from far places. My connection is with water, and water is an intermediary substance which gives us access to infinite potentials of energy. So in any way that you can connect to water, however it is, whether you use it to wash your face or you use it to swim in it, however you be with water, I'm just here to kind of inspire people to move at that with care and understanding and make it sacred. Because if you are sacred with your approach to water, and you are actually connecting to a lot of this information that we were just talking about here, and it'll speak to you. And it can be a real simple start, just be conscious about your interaction with water. And it will speak to you, and it will open up avenues of information that you've never really experienced before. I worked in news and documentary for about 10 years, and I had kind of a nervous breakdown. And so I went on this teacher's training in Thailand, where basically I learned Qigong, and I started opening up energy pathways within myself and connecting with the elements. And so I started getting these downloads. And when I returned, I had some opportunities arrive in my lap to use my communication skills for some amazing people. The first was Dr. Emoto. And so I got a chance to connect with water through Dr. Emoto. And so I left his theories of connecting with water, but I kind of wanted to understand what physics was behind it. What the hell is he talking about? I mean, it's basically, it was just way too simple for me. And that's when I was introduced to the work of Dale Pond, who basically took over the work of John Worrell Keeley, who was an occult scientist from the late 1800s who basically disassociated water into its higher levels of energy. He would basically disassociate it, and he would graduate it to higher and higher and higher levels of energy. And so that's where I'm at now, and that's, I think, how I ended up on this couch with these people. I'm pretty honored to be here. I feel like I'm just a little tiny little speck, but
whatever.
I'm just really happy to be here. So
Honestly, we all know each other's energies pretty well from online, I guess the way we've talked over the years. So we're actually very familiar with each other's energies. And you're going to provide the water for tonight, living
Yeah.
structured water.
aloha. That's it.
Before I forget, I'm sorry, what was the name of that scientist?
John Worrell Keeley.
Keely.
His cymatics art and the stuff he does is amazing. So go check out his stuff, and if you're in the area, go to one of his events. I've seen it on video. I haven't been able to attend it yet, but it's pretty awesome.
Everybody knows what cymatics is? Everyone pretty familiar with cymatics, water patterns with sound vibrations.
So he pumps sound through, and you get beautiful patterns and stuff. So,
I mean, I do communication arts, but I'm kind of like at this point where I do so many fucking things that like, what do I need to narrow it down to? Like, what's the message I want to convey to you guys? And I think it's just like connect to water. Just connect to water. Connect to your heart. Connect to water. Water, mostly water.
Water is much more vast than most people think. Most people just think, water, it's wet and evaporates. Well, It has so many different properties that it is the most interesting
Of all
elements
materials.
of all material on our planet, hands down. You can geek out on water for the rest of your life, just learn these little intricacies. But Jeremy's like really, he's one of the guys on the forefront, so check Jeremy's work out.
Yeah, see? Hey everybody, I'm Chris Plouffe, and I'm passionate about kind of taking science and spirituality and mixing them together. For so long it's been separated, and I don't feel like that's necessary. I feel like they all interact and they're all connected. So for me, my passion on top of that is to really copy and follow nature. So to have a theory of everything, or to have a cosmogony, or something that explains everything based off nature, is kind of the way we need to go. I mean, nature's the perfect design, perfect system. So for me, I'm inspired mostly by Walter Russell and Leon Russell, but also Tesla, Schauberger, people like that. And I just, we just need to focus on the life side of things, the life cycle, the growth and compression side of things, because right now science in our world really focuses on explosion and expansion and the depth capital side of things, but we're just not looking at the other side. So for me, trying to break that down into layman's terms is fun, and I'm trying to do my best in helping other people put information out that they can actually understand and not take like 6 years like I've done to really understand it before I can explain it myself. So I just don't want to regurgitate what Walter and Russell or other people are saying. I want to break it down and say, this is what they mean when they say cathode or when they say these other things. And thanks to Jason, because Jason about 6 or 7 years ago got me on the path of Russell, and it's been awesome ever since. Our website, lightcoalition.org, and there's a lot of stuff I post on there, from my thoughts on fusion to how it relates to BBM, Vortex-based math, to what a monopole is. So whatever I'm inspired for that day, I kind of just blog about it and see what I can do.
One really interesting aspect about Chris and his work is he's actually kind of taken an approach that is approachable. Because there's a lot of people that are working in this type of work, and they have their opinion on something, and they have such ego surrounding it, and it's almost unapproachable. So how's anybody going to communicate with that? How's anybody going to pick it up and bring it close and feel like it's something they can be part of? And so Chris has kind of made space for that in his work. Like, he doesn't shoot anybody down if they have any different ideas or concepts. So I really appreciate that about Chris's work.
We all do.
Hey everybody, my name is Zach Cobell. I'm a marine scientist, so I have to connect the water. Grew up on the working coast. My dad was a commercial diver for 40 years. My mom was a deckhand on a boat, so kind of easy to connect the water. But me, myself, I wanted to get into studying sustainable and renewable energy. I knew that that was the future. I just didn't know how long it's going to take to make that future now. So I've actually had individual revelations in the wee hours of the morning with these individual people's information over the years. So I know every single person here on like a spiritual level and an informational level. But I don't have any interaction except for with Tyler and Jeremy, and I think I might have met Gregor once, but just for a second years ago. And I've known all you guys for like years. So I studied not from like the design and model of how to build wave buoys that generate power from the oscillating up and down motion of waves, but I looked at it from the lens of people. How do you get people to organize their ideas to generate funding, even in this case, or to have communities that only have such so skilled workers in the community, the local officials, to make positive projects happen now, the resources they have now. What science is known now at the local university that can be sort of translated into layman's terms for the guy who works at the municipality and makes a positive project happen for the public, or some sort of electrical, public utility. there's a lot of ways to take this. I just went to school and I studied sustainable energy, but I did see some problems. It's going to take a while because we ourselves orchestrate and organize a plan to help the system that seems to be a little broken. It's kind of like static in the ether. We're all connected in the ether. We are. Where's everybody else? And so there's amazing resources. I think the solutions are already all here. We just have to, keep trudging along as hard and fast as we can with our individual lives, our individual scenarios and situations. And eventually, more of these types of situations are going to be broadcast, and we'll be able to do something about it. We'll get the funding we need. It's only going to take any one of these people to get funding, and something amazing could happen in this world. Literally, any one.
Speaking of which, working on all of this, very high-tech, noble, and uplifting stuff. I'm trying to get funding for it. I can't believe I just thought I'm trying to get funding for this for years. And with this rich guy, hey, will you do it? With this rich guy, hey, will you do it? Oh, ain't gonna happen like that. So, like most things in life, it's not gonna happen unless you do it yourself. So I made a mobile phone app, and it's going to launch pretty soon. There are 950 million Android phone users. There's over 1 billion iPhone users. So hopefully going to sell this app for $2.99 for a download, and $4.99 in Japan and China. And if less than 100,000 people, 1 million people buy the app for $1 or whatever it is, these things will be funded. Do all these noble things, all this high-tech stuff, right? So I figure something mindless, offensive, and really rude will probably generate more funding than others. So I came out with a mobile app that's called Flurties. P-H-L-U-R-T-Y-Z. Now, when you text your friends, everybody uses smiley faces, right? Well, has anybody ever had an X-rated smiley? Anybody ever have any fuck you smiley? Anybody ever have really horrible smileys? No, they don't exist. I've tried to do it, they don't exist. So I made this company, Flurties, and we're about to launch this, and hopefully insulting everybody will make more money than trying to do good for everybody. And this, I swear, this for everybody. This is seriously offensive for everybody.
Everyone will download it. Everyone will download it.
And then I just created a Facebook page 2 days ago, and we're about to launch it and everything. I spent $14,000, everything I have, over the last year and a half trying to put this stupid ass idea together with 2 of my friends. If this blows up, come on, man. Smiley faces with grills. You ever seen that before? You ever seen smiley faces with a boob? No, they don't exist. I did that. So hopefully somebody's going to buy that worldwide. Nobody's going to understand the Higgs boson, okay? People understand shit. So hopefully that. Tell your friends, download that, spread it, because I started the company to my friends, so the profits are going to be split 3 ways. But what I want to do is allocate a percentage of every download. But you can't fund this technology. Only rich people can. But you can buy this app, and I guarantee you, I'll write it publicly, that a percentage of this money made from this stupid idea will go to these projects. And if you support this, I promise you it'll go through.
And he's gonna
P-H-L-U-R-T-Y-Z. Flirty.
He's donating his portion, so Jason could get rich. All that money.
I'm gonna put it right back into Cyril and put it
Just
into.
self-organizing.
If it's like, I couldn't believe nobody had thought of that idea, so if that actually takes off, and it'll be much easier to promote events to your friends than any of this information. Everybody will download it, everybody will use it and laugh and make fun of other people with it. Really bad.
It's
I got really bad
transmutation of
stuff.
energy. It's taking this crazy energy that nobody talks about how cool it is to have, but everybody's downloads it. Everyone's got it.
So I figure hopefully that little tool, 950 million Android users, over 1 billion iPhone users. If an 11-year-old Chinese girl drops out of school because she just made $50 million from an app, it's gotta work.
Hey, man, how do you spell it again?
PHLURYTZ, Flirties. And I only spell it that way because the other Flirties were all taken up on GoFundMe.com. PHLURYTZ, Flirties. I haven't even made business cards and flyers for it or nothing yet. But there's going to be a free version. People are going to be able to download this. And then there's going to be suggestions so we can, I want the most offensive, horrible things, all the new stuff, you know, like the Black Lives Matter, stand up, don't shoot, all that stuff in emoji form. So you can just spread it out. And then I want to do Nikola Tesla emojis. I want to do all these noble emojis after it gets the attention of all this stupid.
That's smart.
And then, unfortunately, it's gonna ruin my credibility.
No, it won't, because we've seen where it started. We right here seeing where it started and what it was made for, dude.
Thank you.
It's all about what God, as long as God knows what you did. That's
So I'm not doing it to offend people, I'm doing it to create attention.
You did good.
Secret geometry emojis.
All of that.
Extreme sports emojis. We need
Yeah,
ideas.
all of that.
We need ideas. You have good ideas?
And I'm gonna need to hire people for ideas and
We'll
for
make the
artwork and all that. But that's,
The side thing to like the
Yeah.
free energy movement is we're scheming all the time.
You just created the.
I was gonna say, like,
Teabagging revolution.
As a
midnight if you want to get around and get.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna send the teabag.
How do you know this area?
You say go to TED Talks?
No, I said just keep in mind, timelines after midnight, we want to do discussions about things on
Yeah, I know that's what I was bringing up earlier. I wanted to So,
yeah, people have
I'll
questions.
start right there.
Like,
Later, do this.
yeah, I'd love to hear Tyler speak. Tyler
Let me
Thurmond.
add something.
He's awesome.
Thank you, brother. So, yeah, my name's Tyler Thurmond. Like Zach put it, somewhere along the chain, I've interacted and seen everyone online or in person throughout the years in the journey. And I'm sure for some of you guys too. You never know. But it's a strange universe. So, very small, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I recognize something beautiful before I go into kind of what I've been doing, just with this group right here, of like, it seems like Gregor was really able to, because I've seen everyone kind of go through evolutions and different things, and by myself evolving, and Gregor's been able to gravitize everyone together right here to this interesting thing right here, and everyone attracted to how you come and what you bring and how you show up. And I think that's always been a beautiful thing that I recognized early on when I met you through the whole YouTube thing, like 9 years ago or something crazy.
Yeah, Tyler reached out to me like it was 7 years ago or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a while ago. It was like, hey, you should come to Tesla Tech. Go on the road.
Yeah.
It was the pioneer of Vortex-based on the Max.
I just recognized
Really?
that it's
Oh my
genius.
God.
Yeah.
I like my watch.
And then, like, and everyone else is like, I just see it coming together, man, and it's a beautiful thing. So I just think it's a real special thing. And this right here, and what you guys have going on, like, I just see a beautiful thing happening right now. So basically, you know, in my journey has been 29 now, started from the entertainment industry, got out of that like at 19, and started to work with a guy named Mark Rubin. It was decrypting Bible codes and stuff like that. Ended up, making a pretty revolutionary rehydrations of ancient knowledge of mysticism about the names of God, which are encoded in different geometries and different structures and different scriptures and stories and etc. in every single culture. He more so focused on what's called the Baha'i faith, but every culture is all saying the same exact thing. Anyway, so he brought it to a level where he was able to work with head people at Microsoft, and he presented to George Bush Sr. and all kinds of stuff. And it was recognized that it was profound what he had rehydrated, and that became what's called Vortex-based mathematics. So I found myself in a position loving marketing and communications and being a water sign that I could listen long enough to people and get the vibe long enough and try to keep myself out of it. I learned how to keep myself out of it now. But listen and hear long enough to kind of see where these flow, how they're flowing, where's it a little stagnant at, and this and that. So I ended up kind of starting the whole rodent coil work-based mathematics thing, whatever, on YouTube, which turned into a pretty big grassroots kind of thing today. Kind of got disheveled and insane because it ended up being like, is everyone making technology in their garage? And nothing really working, but showing a lot of interesting stuff, and something's really working. And people disappearing, and investors coming, people dying, and people committing suicide. We lost a lot of team members and a lot of stuff, and that was all back then. And so there's a lot of people who aren't, even just like our age range, man, who aren't with us today because of this. So, and I was in kind of a weird position to kind of see that, and so what I started doing was I used to like make the presentations for this guy named Mark Rubin, who's like a teacher of mine. He taught us a lot, in every way you can teach, right? So he used to send me like to go drive like homeless people like 50 miles out in the desert, and I was a part of like my lesson for the day. And come back and be like, what the fuck was the purpose of that? And he's like, you have to connect with all different kind of people, no matter, like take me out of my comfort zone. And like it's just weird random shit like that. In life, yeah, it was like that, man. And a lot of people who've been around Marco all had strange, weird. Everyone knows like that was just insane. So fast forwarding through all that, I eventually from like basically like being the behind the scenes person for him and what that turned into, I eventually started giving my own and doing like facilitating R&D between a lot of different people. We all work together on different projects, put together information and try and present it right to the investor. So we don't look as the same as the main guy, but then the main guy doesn't look the same because we're there backing him up. We're young and fresh and we communicate the shit normally, right? So like none of that worked either. So it was like after going through so many millionaires and billionaires' houses and being in that and seeing cycles happening, something popped up in my head where it's like, yo, man, you gotta step up and do your own thing. It's time for the next generation to take it over because like what we found back when we were all going to Tesla Tech, like we met like 5, 6, 7 years ago on that, like the whole audience there, like I was definitely the only half black mixed looking person in the space, period. Like there wasn't really any. And then it was all of a sudden then like I remember being the youngest person there and everyone was 60 and up. That was Tesla Tech. And then this whole fresh wave came in, and Jason came in, he came from the hip-hop scene, and I was like, I don't do fresh with shit. I was around so many, like, just it was different, trying to go from that and back to, like, our age range, or into, like, like, social, like, what's cool, whatever. It's like 2 different complete worlds, man. And you end up surrounding yourself with a lot of people who have first-hand experience of technology working, and know that guy's dead now. Or all this kind of stuff, like John Searle, these guys, and a lot of these guys are very, they're choosing to not be as fluid or dynamic because they've been beaten so hard by life, traumatized. And so the conclusion that hit me eventually was, well, continue to do self-work and continue to advance it with those, advance yourself so you can advance it with those who are also advancing. And that's the thing that evolves into all of us being here tonight. And what brings us here forward to have this clarity of a conversation that's actually happening. It seems a little disheveled. There's a lot of clarity that's going to go down, that's happening right now, it's coming together. So I just want to fast forward from all of that to ended up giving a lot of talks at different festivals and made a movie called The Cosmic 432 with a guy named Jamie Brutruff, and you know, he got another $500,000 and then he got turned into, I don't know what happened to him, but that investment went something, the shit just falls apart, man. But the point about it is, and it's all a learning journey, but the 432 thing like blew up into a lot of different crazy stuff too, because people told you not to force, but we found out that the Vortex-based mathematics in the Bibles, even the remixed as King James Version Bible, his codes are still in there, and it's pointing on this 432 basic two divisible system, which is really just all about, you know, free square, just triangulation in general. But
We'll be having some tonight.
you know what I'm saying? All day, right? So basically, evolving through that, man, and you know, my journey for the past, you know, 2 years, which is important to share with you guys, what I do is I realized I stopped giving public talks. I really disappeared from the internet, shut down all the YouTube channels and all this stuff, and try to disassociate myself with it to try and recreate a professional, normal life. Because everything it gets so far out there, man, where like literally when you start doing this stuff, you start understanding how UFOs are working and all kinds of strange stuff, man. Like you can't go backwards. You start having experiences, or you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not some game, it's like really serious, you know, and everyone knows that. So I say all that to say that, that I stepped back out of this world and began to pursue this to make it a functional business dynamic. And I just want to say that, like Jason pointed out, the reason why I stopped giving presentations and stopping is because I can sit there in front of people and explain how this numbers works and the code, the name of God, how the universe is structured, how consciousness works, and break it down so simple, just 1, 2, 3, where everyone's getting it. But then I'm looking at my life and I'm saying, well, my life is not reflecting the wisdom that I know I have. It's not manifested, the knowledge that I have in my head is not. When I look at myself, it ain't what's going on. So I had to stop for a second. So if I'm not doing what I know and applying my knowledge, then it's this knowledge ain't really wisdom yet, right? So that's when I stopped and ended up getting back into, man, and that brought me to some very interesting things. So right now, you know, like Zach, you know, he saw we launched the Indiegogo campaign, and I just want to give it out and give it away now, because this is for all of us, man. It's like, we had mistakes, like, you know, like how real this is. Like, some of us have actually held working technology in our hands and are doing amazing stuff. Been there and seen the people who actually did it or did it ourselves, not just hearsay stuff. It's like, one of our group members, you know, only about 6 months ago, even created something really revolutionary with a standard inverter system utilizing this information, these fundamental principles that each one of us are discussing in different words, applied to a basic ass inverter, for a solar inverter, etc., and it gets 500% more energy out. I was the only person to know exactly what he did, and then also the only person to know who exactly squashed the project and bought him out. And it was actually one of the biggest oil companies in the world showed up, and that person no longer can communicate or work on any of this kind of stuff. That just happened in New Year's. And so this is like real stuff, guys. So
It happens all the time.
happens all the time, and it happens. So it's like you said, like, you know, another millionaire, billionaire, this rich guys in the front, and that it brings out really ugly scenarios in people. So, but the opportunity in that is that it forces us to be on top of our game in whatever we do. It's a T-shirt line, if it's a website thing, or if it's a new inverter or technology, we have to be very aware and sharp, because someone's going to be sharper. And so it's a very serious game, and I just want to just communicate that, guys. And when you start doing it, and from the knowledge and you take it to application, boy, you know what I mean? Like, this stuff is really happening. These guys in the number just talking and having a philosophy thing, like when there's funding and when the stars align, which they're aligning in general, beyond funding, money shit, beyond that, there is going to be some epic blessings that come forth. You know what I mean? And everyone here is going to be in a state of mind to be able to channel that blessing and to be a blessing to others, and not participate in generating unnecessary resistance, which has always happened before. So many inventors who come before us who taught us all different things and held on to their inventions, they went to their graves with it, and no one knew how to do it again. So from the beginning, when I started doing this whole thing, because I didn't want my son, who's now 3.5 now, to have to go look back at Tesla patents from fucking 150 years ago and shit. You know what I mean? Like right now, with the knowledge we have in this room, the ability to digitize this and make it officially synchronized in one platform that can be accessible in a click of a button is priceless. Or else our generations and next generation have to start from like bang. And that's like almost impossible now. So that's just looking at all that. So right now, I'm actually part of a software startup company where we've taken some of this math and we've built an operating system out of it to eventually facilitate this type of information. Yes. So what we've done is we've got it to a level now where we've said, we're not going to work on hardware anymore. We're just going to work on the computer shit, which is where you go in the app. So I'm glad to hear, because that type of creativity is needed, man. And so, yeah, that's really what it is. Yeah, we got to be industrious and be sharp and have the right principles, you know, at play in our heart, and always put the heart first, man, because the money shit will always lead us astray.
I like to add a couple things to that. The first thing is the fact that we now have the internet, and the fact that we can share with a click of a button with thousands and thousands of people. There's no way to single out now. I mean, it's still happening. You experience that, but it doesn't happen as much. You know, Stanley Meyer, people like that.
Let me tell you why it happened. Because this is about transparency. Because at the end of the night, I got something for all you guys like digest. I want to share it, give to you guys, right? So, and this is roundtable. This is about openness, right? Transparency. So the reason why it happened is because one of our guys, who was the actual hands-on, here how you wind it, etc., got really excited, and the CEO of British Petroleum, believe it or not, came to his house, was invited, and came there, and my guy got excited and said, well, let me check you in the lab real quick to show you what I really got. And the next day, the black limos came up, the jet came, flew to London, decision was made, homeboy locked down, security, phone calls done. I don't know you anymore, sorry.
Wow. What was it? What was it exactly, the project?
It was an inverter, just a regular inverter that you plug solar panels or wind turbine into, they gives you 500% more energy out. And what it is built upon is utilize the same principles that everyone's talking about here and playing with and trying for years. And it's so simple, I'm the razor, that it's beyond belief how simple it really is. And if everyone here sat down, it could be done in 2 weeks, minus the shipping time for the materials. But that's just one approach, but that just happened, man. So it was really
That's just one.
It was really just one, and it was really hard for me to see someone of our generation, because the CEO is probably 10, 15 years older than us, I'm almost 30 now, who were really still totally cool and saying, fuck you, man. They like, just fuck you. And that was like really cool, like just, wow, that's really cool. That's how you feel about it.
They have to get their vaccine before they go to work.
Yeah, they do. But you would know, right? Because you're in that field. Yeah. So, yeah.
The second point was just that you just talked about the inverter situation. The technology that we're working with, think about being able to create a small device that you could already attach to your combustible engine that transmuted nitrogen to hydrogen so you could run your car on air. What the fuck would that do to the world? What would they do to stop that? You know what I'm saying?
One way to run your car.
Do you guys ever fear for your lives?
I try not to even sit in that state. I'm living my life to share my passion and
I feel left out. All these people getting their door kicked in. I feel like cookies waiting.
Let me comment on that.
I must not be onto something.
No, you are. You really are. And the funny part is that particular point, bro. Because this is just, I'm just sharing it because it just happened to me. You know what I'm saying? And like, it touches me personally. And I think what happens to us is what we bring forward then, right? If we get an email and just share it. Everyone's doing this shit that they're like, oh, very comfortable with what we're doing. It's real. You know what I'm saying? It's you're being monitored. That's what's happening.
They're more scared of us than they are of them.
They're so desperate. They're so desperate.
They don't understand.
They're so desperate. No, they understand very clearly. Because you gotta understand that everyone on this planet who's in a power position understands the same science. The whole thing, right? Everyone who knows the same thing. You better believe the people at the top of these companies will just suck it all out of the water. They know how to work with the crystal, how to do this and that, and cast this, whatever you want to work with the energies or the electron. They know what's up. Everyone's just playing a timeline game. You know what I'm saying? They're playing, we don't want the price of solar panels to go down that fast. We don't want to get that you guys be doing this kind of creative shit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, let's slow it down 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like,
It's like
that's
it's
all
like a
we're
chess
talking about.
game. Imagine it's like a chess game where we didn't know that we were playing before.
Right.
They were really good chess players. They're the master chess players, and we're just these pawns, right? Now, now we're overpassing that to the point where we know some shit about chess, and we're not gonna let them, just take the pawns.
Well, when you get your pawn to the end of another guy's side, he turns into a queen.
Yep.
Somebody asked if we fear for our lives. I don't, but my wife does. She tells me all the time, she's like, you better stop this shit because, we live in Sedona and there's black helicopters going around all the time. And I'm like, whatever,
I don't really build devices, but I play with them. So I'm not an engineer, I'm a social scientist. I study people. I don't fear for my life at all, but I'm also not living kind of important. Put it together, bring it to market, get the funding, like Tyler did. He was in touch with me, I gave him a little press release thing on Facebook, nothing that huge, but I took some time and put together some info that he might be able to use to, share and get a little more money. But there was a time that I was worried that there were like eyes on me. Like learning about spiritual things through scripture or Vortex-based math with Gregor's videos from like decades ago. Which wasn't really, but we've changed so much so fast that, no, I'm not afraid of my life, but I am living a very normal life right now. I'm back to work. I had to stop waiting for the magic turnover in the world would just shift on a dime. So now I recognize how to be balanced with my 3D world, my finances, and keep in touch, and do what I can to stay artistic, find new ways to be passionate and inspired through art and science, but not have this like angst to force it.
Which goes back into the heart, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're following your heart and you're letting that guide you in your decisions and your interactions with people, then we all know we're going in the right direction. When we turn into like, I'm about to hook up with this investor, we're going to do global distribution, we're going to do this and that, we got this. It's like, woo, so much other weird shit you have to. But I just want to mention too that also, right now, I'm glad to be here tonight too. It's the first time I share with you guys that I'm now executive producing the Mind Unleashed Facebook page. We got like 7 million people there, and we got probably like an extended network of about 15 million, including the other partner sites like Spirit Science, Spirit Science Metaphysics. And so there's an interesting thing that's happening right now, and how do we come together, ether, force, and etc., all the beings, how do we come together and, it's not a question of how, it's like what do we want to do next, and what's going to be the most, powerful thing to do next?
I would be so stoked on like a monthly web series where it's you guys in the laboratory putting together these smaller scale kind of.
We've been working on this, but we do need to do way more. We kind of feel that. We understand that's like the next step. So the thing is getting us all on a similar time frame, or at least be able to mesh better together with taking time out. That's what we're working on. We're getting there. Yeah.
This is the same time as a lot of self-work.
Well, it's also cool to see like how you dudes, as you like break apart, you're busy doing your thing, you're busy doing your thing, so you three get together and you see these different like chemicals coming together and forming a compound, right?
Do like a layman scientific method, like the whole.
Oh yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah, I talk to people every day that want to know more, and I'm learning every single time I talk to somebody how to break down something I know into completely, and I'm always the guy, I'm always the guy asking all of these guys, like, okay, explain it to me more. I push them more and more and more so that each one of them slowly realize that our terminology, it has to start coming together better so that we can understand things. And when that happens, we're all able to communicate it. We all start to realize, okay, well, this is how I look at this. I need to remember that each person has their own perception, and each person's perception is based on their own worldview, which is so unique based on how there's all these dynamics that you just come savvy to. Like, okay, well now it's like this mirror. You see yourself in other people, and you see other people's reflection, and it's like a dynamic process of tapping into how to get people passionate and things to click. Not just like for people to memorize stuff. That's not what it's about. It's not about like, okay, you're talking about negative mass and this and that. Well, it's about understanding. Oh my God, like you get these epiphanies, and that's what you have to take on your own. So really, it's just getting all of us to talk about things in an easier way for you to understand, so that you can just teach yourself quicker. So you don't have to go through so much work. And believe me, that's one of my biggest priorities. You know, I'm working on the best I can.
I think God's put together the universe, etc. Mother, father, brother, cousin, sister, whatever. Put together a pretty dynamic cast here. I agree.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
The most exciting part is that we're all like indigos, we're all defiant in fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like each one of us to the construct that we don't agree with. And that's what's the strength, that's what's positive, that's what hypes me up when I get with these guys is they're just like me. You know, I'm not afraid of this, you know, I'm not gonna back down. I mean, this is what it's gonna be, and we're gonna share it, and we're gonna spread it, and if you don't like it, that's it.
I see like
And if you don't like it, then I'm not dick,
like
but
a tree of inspiration. Like for me personally, it's just my story. It's not your guys, obviously, but it's similar mapping of the tree of inspiration. I found Gregor's YouTube videos years ago, zooming in and out on vortex-based mathematics with this yellow donut shape and the numbers flowing down these toroidal tetrahedral shapes with little donut-top donut knots, and I was just like in awe of numbers flowing into it. Then I met Tyler, who knew all about BBM and worked with Marco, and Marco was like, whoa, you already know Marco wrote it. Then, shortly after that, Walter Russell came on my radar, and literally that same week, Jason posted a video about Walter Russell. And then through this motion that continues, my inspirations changed. I changed, I did art, I didn't do art, I learned this, I learned that, I let go of this, I gained that. Chris is my newest friend, and he's now doing the work that I wish I could accomplish, which is to hone in on Walter Russell and bring it into some sort of digestible format. So that worked. And you're the newest guy in the group that I just met, you know, it's like, that's the real gift. It is a family tree of growing through to some fruition eventually.
If we keep this up and go on ongoing conversations, email each of these people, stay communicate on Facebook or YouTube, and hey, what about this? And ask questions once a week, once a month, whenever you have something on your mind, talk about it. Try to answer everybody's questions. I spend a lot of time with my girlfriend. She's so angry at me sometimes because I'm just okay. But I think it's so important to like talk to people and get the information across, because if some millionaire or some just regular person sees that they're reading it and something clicks with them, that could be the Leo. That could be that kid that sees this information the way we're presenting it, could just, oh, well that's like this. Well, and it just doesn't, because he looks at all this information provided, because we make it easier and easier and easier. Talking about this negative mass, all this stuff. Every time you add more information, you add more, I think thought is negative mass, by the way. Every time you add more energy, it becomes more energy dense. That same you can fit so much more information in that same thing. So it's like, instead of me having to speak to you linearly, word for word right now before you get what I'm saying at the end of the sentence, boring, long process. The more energy dense that you can compact this, it's like you can convey these thoughts to people like that, and they'll get everything we've studied for the last 8 years, just like that. And then they'll collect all that and put it together in one click for someone else. And it will reach a critical point, which is our life and generation, where this information makes people will see and just get it, because 100 years ago it had to have long conversations. Now it just takes, what, 3 hours? People are getting these concepts. Whoa, just wait until you read one line, see one picture in it. And for anybody, there's going to be a symbol, there's going to be some sort of information, and just where people will just get it. And I think the more people that focus on this contribute to that negative mass or whatever energy around, and it will collect and collect and collect, and therefore other people will be able to understand that. In addition, the more you pay attention, other people will too. Because everybody's in a part of that same ring. Any point of that ring has access to all other points, because it's all literally.
It's like today I learned something, hey, Jason calls it negative mass, and I call it negative back.
And that 100th monkey is when all the 99 monkeys move together as one to make a big memory. It's not going to be 100 monkey individuals. When everybody else is moving like a school of fish, moving as one fish, when all those 99 monkeys move as one, that will be the 100th monkey. Not, we're waiting for that 100th person. We're already all got it. We just gathered. We just need to move together as one. It will just keep talking, keep delivering the information, and it will be easier for people day by day, until we can just say 2 words and people get it.
Gregor, did you already create a Facebook group? A Facebook group, I guess, or a page?
Yeah, Caleb did. Caleb had it before.
Oh, yeah, I have a question. Is the Ethan Force group open? Is it public?
No, I left it on.
Okay, so, it's like 100 people. It's just like a geek use of geek.
Okay, just grab it out. So, if you want to know about little side story.
Yeah.
So we made a group to try to figure out how to render Walter Russell's work in 3D. And, you know, so Ray, or what's his name? Tech Zombie. Yeah. Anyways, Tech Zombie made me an admin for he made all of us like admins.
Yeah.
It's really him. And I saw open source site. Oh, I can put whatever I want. You know, all of a sudden, I just made a group and started adding a few people into this conversation. I was like, screw it, I'm adding everybody in. Turn this into a, well, we had a group conversation going with like 100 people talking about, Brazilian, models and all kinds of really interesting things. Everybody's talking about something different, adding new things. I was like, I'm just making this into a group, and just to keep these conversations in a cache going. I didn't expect it to grow into what it is now.
Well, it's the second evolution. The first evolution that we were part of was the converted coil Vortex group, Vortex back group. There's a bunch of young minds like us. And some are really active in the Ethan Force, some are active in the Ethan Force for that, but it dissolved for a while. That energy left. It wasn't really engaged on the internet for, I don't know, like a couple of years or something. And Ether Force, the energy came back. And came back in a different way. It came back clearer and more holistic.
And I think this platform needs to be your platform.
Absolutely.
Because it seems like you have your finger on the pulse.
Well, not right. Yeah, right now we have the mind at least. You know what I mean? So it's like weekly we get 1/8 the whole United States population every week with this information. You know what I mean? And
What is it? Was it live recording?
Facebook.
We are recording. I would not have mentioned British Petroleum, but it's okay.
I follow it on Facebook.
Okay, it's not on this, right? So everyone should definitely just search for it.
Yeah, I already follow it.
So it's a pretty cool platform. I think like you guys were saying, like as far as a show type of thing, maybe a platform type of thing like that. The next thing would be just make a page, it's the first page, because then we get definitely do some collaborative stuff and we start bringing weekly content. You know what I mean? To the mind at least exclusively. Like that's the type of stuff that I'm looking at how do we do that and make it fun and cool without, what are we trying to avoid? We're trying to avoid anything.
Well, what,
We're trying to do
So what's
something.
your advice?
The intent of this event, it's about rallying faith for this.
There we go.
And that we're not trying to sell anyone anything right now. We're not trying to sell everyone, yeah, we want funding to move forward with these ideas and actually demonstrate something, bring something onto the earth plane. But at the foremost, we're rallying faith. Because as we're saying, we go to investors, we go to people, people think, I got called a fraud last week on the Burning Man forums. Okay, like, of all places. And so like,
Don't take it serious.
oh, absolutely, it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. And so there is this bridge to cross, and so it's building faith. And so like, you're seeing us talk with confidence about what we're passionate about. That's what is our primary thing we're bringing forward. And so the idea of this event this night was to see it. We did it, guys. This is awesome. Like, congrats, thank you. And to create more of them, and that we can get bigger venues, bigger audiences, and evolve into, like, we're about to have fun and socialize. And like, you guys have fun, it's gonna be a good time. But take this to Venice, take this to Oakland, take this to Boulder, take this to bigger venues, and start to create these events that are really hosting intent and go different directions. And so we got great trials. We thought we were going to get some more numbers. But in terms of fundraising and also people watching the video, is if there's any sort of fundraising, it's to create more of this. Is to share more of this. Because the most important thing we can do, like outside of any technology, is just raise the vibration, break down these constructs, free the mind. Because if you free the mind, it's all over, God.
The body will follow.
To touch on what Jason was saying about us putting in the work, just like other people are doing it, to, if I did 6 years of as many hours I put in, which has been a ton, and if I could just make one paper, then I felt like I did my job. If I can break all this shit down that I've been harping on, just sitting with and meditating on, and break that down into something easy in one paper, or one video, or one 3D model, which is what we're doing. I'm working on a movie, we got 3D stuff going, it's going to be in that video as well. Put it on the web where people can spin it around and play with it, turn layers on and off so you can see where it's at in the cycle. We're all doing that, and that's what's exciting, is everybody's input, and everybody working together, and yeah.
It's a very exciting time for us. We've been all in this for quite a while, and kind of never really got anywhere. You don't get very far when you work on your own, but something's coming together now. A lot of people don't realize like who these guys are. There's a lot of other guys out there too that couldn't be here. That if we can do this more, we can. And you need to be up here. You need to be up here. You're not any different from us. All we need, all it is how much attention do you pay to these things, and you'll figure it out. It happens with everybody. And you become passionate about it because it's like something real. Finding something real in this world full of whatever bullshit.
I mean, you guys are talking about keeping in touch and Lord's getting kicked out. I don't want to talk to you guys. No emails, no calls, never seen you guys tonight. That's it. I'm just kidding.
Well, dude, a lot of these guys up here, I don't know, it's hard to, I guess it's hard to we haven't brought it onto our realities.
That's the same thing.
There's a lot of gaming that we haven't brought it onto our realities.
I think that was a lot of last
No,
two generations ago. The people that were doing that are like,
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
the younger generations don't want to kick in people's doors anymore for this stuff. They're like, I want this technology. I believe in this.
The pendulum is swinging right now. So might be imbalance over here, it's coming back.
I did a whole talk on power generations, and it's based on astrology and what's kind of evolved over time. And it's what you're talking about. It's like that the percentage of folks that are willing to be that kind of person and so much more small way. And it's especially since the mid to late 60s first the person born late 70s, early 80s was the second one, and the early 90s was the third one. And so these are the three power generators. It's like an hour and a half talk, but it's a great.
We got a video on it?
I want to make it into a video. I have a recording of it, but I don't have a lot.
Yeah, I need to make a video.
Gen X though, Gen X share.
Yeah.
We're not going down there.
But it's really,
We're not down there.
It's kind of inspiring, because it just shows that, because we can go back to the past and say, this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what, and like even what you're saying, like even in recent times, like it's still happening, but how much of it is us recreating the past, projecting it onto that, you know, it's like, free energy isn't the future, it's the present, and it's just prevented by our attack in the past.
I think getting more granular on that is we can call it projection. But I think what's happening is, and it definitely is, because most people think when you hear something, when you see something, you smell something, you reference it to a memory in the past. I think what happens is that what I saw directly happen was there was this kind of I noticed kind of in our generation and younger today that a lot of people are like, you ask them like, hey man, what do you want to know about the universe? And they don't know what to say. Nothing at all. And then you ask them like, what's the most interesting thing you think you can know that you would maybe want to know? At least what would it be about? Is it empty, blank? And then, maybe they'll say health. You know what I mean? Then you give them something that's too much. Right? So it's like, but then it's like, then it comes into, on another scale, it comes into like, let's say we're talking about technology, whatever, and that. It's like, you have to, I mentioned all that to say that so many of us either choose to blank out and black out and go into Burger King world, or we go into the far off fringes of the deep, which we go into and then we can't support ourselves, or we can, we all go through that. And then it's about how do you bridge it. And a lot of people get defranchised and traumatized and can't come back and bridge the worlds and find the balance there. So, and I speak to your point by saying that some people think that, we'll just make it, let's distribute it, let's get it out there. And what happens is you forget that there is a chess game going on. And so projection plays a part in it, but it's really about the willingness to master yourself and master every skill you have and just be the exemplification of your own self-mastery. Stepping into the arena that you step into to do business, it's going to be business. So it's like, we have to, this is so much more. Once you figure out the tech, that's just the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And see, a lot of people, when they get right there, they start already frizzling and buzzling, and that's how you get chopped and stopped. And that's nothing to do with projection. That's just the thinking that the world's wrong, I'm going to do this now, I'm going to liberate, save the world, give it to everybody. And it's like, a lot of people are like, hit it. You're walking into the trap. You got to come out straight up like, ready to rock, ready to go, chop, chop, chop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so there was a shift though, like we talked about, like 2012, whatever. Regulus, if anyone's familiar with that, it's a fixed star.
Oh, yeah.
So it represents power shift, right? And so that shifted around 2012 from Leo to Virgo, 2,000 year plus time frame, right? When it's in Leo, we're talking about power structures that are Leonian, which is essentially what the Roman Empire was to start. You want to rip it down. It's the idea that power is very masculine, it's very dictatorial, it's very much non-transparent as far as information goes, things like that. You shift into Virgo, it's more feminine, it's more common sense, it's more health-based, it's more it's more about using common sense, which in this case, let's say energy power. What's more sensible than having people have it for the cheapest, easiest way possible? Why would you go through the process of drilling it out of ground, with oil and transporting it, doing that, all that? It's a waste of time.
Creating carbon too.
Yeah, that's the idea. So, but the point is, there's what I look at it like it's like cell phones, right? My cell phone's on a charger right now, so it's slowly winding down. But let's just pretend that it was charged during Regulus and Leo. So there's people out there that are still cell phones charged with that energy, right? But there's no place to re-plug in because that's gone. So if anyone's going to re-plug in, they're going to plug into the more Virgo energy, right? So this is what's happening. So those people, there are people, like you're saying, that are like, but they're just They're cell phones that are empty, they're draining, and there's not much left. So anyone born now, beyond, forget it, they don't even have it. But we're not going to wait 30 years for those people to be old enough. We can all charge right now. We can all just charge into
We
it.
can use their
And you
light.
know,
We
what's that?
can use the light that they bring.
Yeah, but we can charge right into the new energy. We don't have to wait for our cell phones to go down. Anyone can choose to charge into what's in now. The people that don't, so what? Because they're going to get weaker, and then poof.
That's one of the we can choose
power
to
grid.
flirty.
The what?
The power grid.
Yeah.
The capacitors.
It's a matter of some patience, but the reality that that making a push now is a lot stronger than it was 5 years ago.
Well, that's out. And it's going to continue to get like that, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So like in 2010, rest of that year, I think a lot of people, like I noticed that I work with clients all the time, with astrology, and I've seen over 500 clients. I had to get, like you talked about, like I lost everything. Like I went from like 2 master's degrees, like did this, and I got into astrology, and it like ruined my life in some ways. It like killed my bank account. I got too into it, got spun around. Before I knew it, I was living out of my car, you know. And I was like trying to survive. And then now, like you said, getting back to like reality, like I have a job now. Finally, it's like it feels good to just have like that groundedness and stuff. But I noticed that that time period from like 2010 to 2013 was like that for a lot of people. It just collapsed.
It has to be.
Collapsed.
You have to go down. You
Exactly.
have to go a lot farther before you build that up.
What I'm saying is it brought up a lot of stuff. It brought up a lot of, it brought up a lot about our past. A lot about like people like Will and Wright and Tesla, they got their stuff taken away. And it was like, well, things didn't work out. We should have changed the world by now. What happened? And so there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of like a sense of like lack of confidence and things. I'm going through that. A lot of people are going through that. But it's like now is actually the time. Now is actually the time to implement these things. It's we don't have to wait anymore. We don't have to be as careful as we had to be 3 years ago.
Well, we have instead of being be careful, I think we should have to be really honest with ourselves.
Yes,
Being
that's that period. I mean, everyone gets usually honest.
Well, we got to point out one factor. You said you're a Gemini.
Yeah.
And
I'm a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces.
You're a Pisces, Virgo, and I'm a Sun.
Virgo, Moon, Virgo.
And
all
Pisces
three of us
are
together.
together where actual work.
And yeah, it's interesting because we
What's
just
up with
came
that?
through the Lionsgate, and I
Yeah,
was
we
over
can
on the
really-
Lionsgate, but the Lionsgate was obviously.
So, number 9.
So you're Pisces, Sun, Virgo.
Virgo Moon.
There's a lot of Virgos in here. My
When you
father
say-
was a Virgo too. Both of I had 3 father figures, they're all Virgos. But what's interesting about the Lionsgate is that we just passed through 8-8, and the star Regulus constellation actually lines up with the phallic symbol that we have erected in the middle of Washington, D.C. So it's interesting that these power structures, we hold on to that, have almost like generating power, I feel like, in these centers.
No, really do.
Like, most likely generating
For
power.
sure.
But,
Yeah. Everyone who knows the same thing, right? All of our organizations and militaries and structures and groups, everybody knows the science.
But
We
the
can't run around
idea is that right now it's clinging to this old thing. That's all it's left. The old
Tension,
is
yeah.
clinging to it.
Are they
The illusion.
Are they trying to
Cut
bend
those
the
crises.
Yeah, the illusion that it's actually still past confidence is what's really.
Are they trying to bend the crisis, or do you think they're just desperately holding on to this?
I think they're definitely holding on and trying to distract, trying to shove these problems out there.
Distractions are pretty good.
Oh yeah. Well, like, now that we're all so honest with ourselves, a lot of us have lived in deep, dark places last few years. We're all, like I said, we're now honest with ourselves. And so now, before there was a lot of ego around it, right? And I know for me, it was a lot like, oh, this is going to be great.
I wanted to show up on a spaceship to Lollapalooza. I figured, hey, Jason, let's just be, let's show the world what's really going on.
I was on Fox News getting interviewed for an astrology thing. And it was like, but I was like, this is awesome, because I'm gonna like,
You're gonna kill this.
and I totally owned it. Like they were trying to like get me to like fall, and I just like wouldn't let them talk. Yeah. I was like, no, they're gonna hear this, they're gonna hear this, and we got 5 minutes, good, it's almost up there.
all the signs going to it, what were you like,
just asked me like what was going on, and one guy that was totally skeptical was like, I never even thought of this before. I thought it was just stupid what we're doing this second. He's like, you totally made me like think about this in a different way. And I was like, that's great. But I love that. But like the point is like that got my ego like stirred up. That was like early 2011, and then like I was like, where's my next opportunity to like bust the paradigm and get people to like take things seriously. I think we want to take it seriously. But like we had to go through this dark period. But now it's at the point is now that we have this honesty, be more whole in our approach to just saying, fuck it, let's do it. Let's just do it now.
So I have a question with you guys. All of you guys here, not all of us sitting right here. Who else kind of like has maybe went through that or having that honesty, self-honesty conversation with themselves? Just by raise a hand right now, just in general. That's really good. That's beautiful.
The hard part is maintaining that frame of mind when we are triggered, when we do kind of like fall back into those traps. And that's when like you really kick yourself in the ass after.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny though? What's your name? Ron? What's really funny is this.
Ron made this bad boy right here.
So there we go. I think the fun thing is, the reason I wanted to ask is because it's like some people, we're all different. Everyone here in this room, raise their hand. But when we're talking about, everyone knows that from their own personal experience. That's what makes this whole conversation important. Everyone has personal experience to reference from. But some people are maybe potentially be in a phase where they would just raise their hand because they think it's cool. Say, oh yeah, I'm doing self-checking in reference to self-discovery. That's my question. But they ain't really. So then when you said, how do you stay in that mind? If you really are and you're really being honest, then you are in that state of mind. When it's a joke or it's a cool factor, or people are doing it because socially it takes away from what they benefit from the process. And eventually you're going to end up just throwing yourself deeper in the process because there's going to be no escaping it. And I'm not even talking about that. You know, me too. Because I escaped, I tried to like forget I saw the aliens and saw the spaceship and tried to just go find like nice.
So I'm very curious about the aliens. So can you tell me your experience?
Thank you very much.
I knew it all. Yeah,
It's a demo.
we are trying to.
Hey, look, man. Can I say something real quick?
Break it down, brother.
I just want to say, y'all are some beautiful people, man. Look, I'm God's monster. That's what I call myself. I'm like the new age preacher. I'm the one that say, man, I gotta say it. It say, greater will be the place in heaven. Wait, hold on 1 second. Greater will be the place in heaven for the asshole that can control his or her tongue and actions while here on earth. Look, y'all are the other 1%. Just y'all are supposed to be behind those desks, but they got y'all here, hiding up under a rock, and that's not right. I'm writing a revolution, and you know what I'm saying? I need people, and y'all want people. I'm always on God's time. So like you see me walking, I'll be because I belong where I'm at. I'll be saying, that's all I want to say. So keep on. I'm sorry. Y'all can get me on Facebook, Bam chilling. Man, I'm hooked up with all y'all. Hey, forget that. Y'all see my writings. I have thoughts. I think about everything that y'all thinking. Math, I just want to say this. Math is God's language. It's the only thing in the universe that can't be like, hey man, you know you could be a 9, 3. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Math, man, you can't push it. That's God's language, dude. Man, everybody got a place. People are ashamed to know their place. Yes. If everybody wanted to be a king, who gonna be the waitress? Who gonna clean the toilet? People need to do that. Everybody is the same. It's just, man, y'all doing so good. I'm just here to just listen. I'm sorry, y'all got me. Y'all don't know. There's right across the street. I live right there. Right across, I'm on the alley, man. Right over the alley. Chilling. Smoking my weed and shit. And this is what I wanted to. God, man, God got me where I'm supposed to be. So I just wanted to say that. Had to.
I think you intro it perfect because you asked about the alien thing or whatever.
Man, I know they real, dude.
go into too much about it because I know
Right.
there's other things to cover, but some interesting things that our personal experience wise is I can go on everything, but there's one thing. The summary of everything that I have come in contact with from all my personal experiences and knowledge and getting slapped down. Dreams and experiences and all that is that, and when we look back at this information in terms of the oldest cultures, we go back into the Sumerian, we go into Sanskrit, we go back, you know. What it says is that God, Creator, you know, in the Vedic thing called Krishna, created the material world, as we call this, inside of a cloud above a mountain in a certain part of the spiritual world, which is 1/3 of the entire creation. And the material world is 2/3 of the creation, yet it exists inside of a cloud. So we come back to the age now of cloud computing. Everything comes back cyclical. So then it goes into that, and what it talks about, and this is what has come clear to me through this whole thing, is the reason why this underlying order is here is because it's defining, it's showing that there is a process, a mechanism. And that mechanism or process relates directly to souls. And the souls have experiences. And those experiences determine the acceleration of each individual's journey. So in that acceleration is our ability to have a better characteristic, more structural integrity, the ability to not generate resistance or create resistance. Then we have more acceleration, more flow, which gives us the ability to pierce through situations back into the spiritual world. So the whole entire material world is a soul processing mechanism for us to realize, to see all these references, to come back to an optimal geometry or shape, right? And this is so simple, but that's literally what it says, and that's what I take away from it. And my experiences with different beings, of being on a spaceship, and this and that, is they're all at different levels in this same process. And so some people, like right now, we could be here like harnessing each other's energy and ideas and saying, yo, so can we all get on a non-disclosure agreement right here? You know what I mean? Then we go share information, then we can, you know, create a partnership agreement, you know what I mean? And mining energy like that. Other people are mining thought experience energy. You know what I mean? And mining at a different level. So there's different societies, different people or beings on different levels with different social structures and hierarchies, whatever, fractally, that are all doing their own various level of experience where they can fuck up or do the right thing. And that's the bottom line, and it is definitely real because we see the technology, we know the technology, the science is coming from the ancient science, and that's making sense, and that's common sense is showing you how it's all working. You know what I mean? Like one time I had this experience, man, where I was on this spaceship, made this movie for 432 today, and shit, man, it's crazy shit. So I'm sitting there.
I'm all about it.
I'm in the middle of this thing, and I'll just be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
Check it out. So I'm making this movie in Sedona, right? Love Sedona. I had to have it in Sedona, right? And we find out that the dial tone to the actual the telephone, whatever, is right. It's actually 444. And there was a guy that I named Leonard Horowitz at the time who really bashed me online and called me a CIA COINTEL pro agent because I'm everywhere and all the time. I don't know how brothers can do that. So especially in this. So basically, right? So we were like, we found out that when he was telling people tune to play 528 hertz, you gotta
Low frequency.
and you play love frequency. We were like, yo, that shit don't make no sense. But we didn't, you know what I'm saying? That's not harmonic. So then we found out we're making a movie. Like I was like, yo, Jamie, what's the dial tone frequency? And it was like 444. I was like, no. So I had a dream at night. We were like, yo, should we blast him and be like, yo, is this dude the weird dude in the circle here in the community? And then I had a dream, and what happened then, it changed another life-changing experience, right? We can't block it out, and great, when you're ready to do that. What happened was, ended up on this little spaceship situation. All good, all normal. And
Just a Thursday.
just a Thursday night in Sedona. And anyway, so this praying mantis type of beige entity, 8 feet tall, etc.
Oh my god.
So, and everyone talks about these particular beings and what their roles are in this particular fractal social structure. They're like a referee kind of balance, like. And anyway, so what he says to me is he goes, and it was more so how it was said to me, but then to me to have another experience that you're having right now, which should verify that he comes up, he walks close to me a little bit more, and of course, talking to telepathy. But while he's talking to me, they write it on my eyeballs in yellow subtitles. Because I'm the type of person who I'll act like I forget shit. No, I didn't have it. So they know, except you should accommodate the personality you're dealing with. And so they go, don't worry, this is not going to be a horror movie. All we care about is the cash. CACHE. The data. Everything you do on your computer, through the cloud, through the internet, every button you press is stored in the cache on your computer. That is the currency. That's the critical information. That's what he told me. It's not going to be a horror movie. All care about is the cache. That comes back once again to your auric field or your solid state hard drive around your soul to storing all your memory. Because when I talked to the guy who made Lipitor, the brain scientist cats, they know that the memory is not even in the brain at all, in the head at all. It's mapped of different axes around the body. And that's the inventor of Lipitor. Slipped and told me, and I went in on his ass and made sure I was clear on that. So
we just found the recording.
Now the interesting thing was this: I met his sister then, who was like 50 years old, man. Like 2-3 months later, and I heard her and her husband talking. They were doing like alien gathering groups at their house or something. They call them like lark months. I used to like kind of make jokes with people. Lark month. Yeah, I knew it was real, it was just so goofy. And then I overheard one of her conversations, man. She was like, yeah, when they come, they talk, they write subtitles sometimes when they talk. And I was like, I never heard anyone say that before. I knew what you know what I'm saying? So when you have those kind of
you can relate, because you're like, okay, so it's like you guys being here, for instance. If you have all these thoughts and experiences that you're having and things that you're researching on your own, right? So you're like, okay, cool. Then I look at you, I'm like, you're fucking crazy, right? So you're like, go to your house and you're fucking nuts. But then you meet him, and you all look at each other and you're like, wait, okay, you agree with that? And then it's all exciting.
Yeah.
So it validates your thoughts,
Yeah.
or in this case, your experience.
Right.
Makes it more true, which is what our reality is. Kind of like, hey, do you see him? Do you hear that? Okay.
Here's the funniest part of this whole thing. Since we're in Orange County, just to commemorate the whole Orange County happening here, you guys know that Orange County, this was like the main like presidential like Air Force, like this was it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's all based right here. This is where what was the president's name? It was Nixon. Was all around here. This was it. This was the like UFO like research crazy stuff going down right here. And a lot of older people, 60, 70 years old, remember that. A lot of sightings and stuff like that happening around here, etc. Anyway, so just to commemorate the Orange County thing, 14 years ago, before I met Mark, I had this experience. I'm driving down the Pfieffer right here, which we all came down to get here, most of us. And I'm driving right by Catella Boulevard. There's a Carl's Jr. there, it's probably still there. I don't get that stuff. But I was driving down the freeway with my friend, buddy Elias, and I was in the marketing back then. I was that little clever guy. So I saw this like silver spaceship, only about like probably like literally from that wall to probably another 10 feet that way, diameter, like that, and probably just from here to the ceiling like that, and saw a certain thing, red lights going clockwise, about this tempo. And we saw that moving like bright, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, man, just right next to the freeway moving. And I'm like, finally, a car lot figured out some good marketing. They tied a balloon UFO. That's good marketing. And it kept going about a mile, and it kept going. And we were like, no, dude. And I used to partake in the gotcha back then. Don't anymore. It's all good. But we thought we could have tripping. So we got off the freeway, right there at Catella, Carl's Jr., got on top of the little garbage can there. And here's why I mentioned the story. It's because that occurrence, the signs of occurrence, that's all we have to reference. I stood on top of the trash can big dumpster that's there. And I'm sitting there looking in the sky, right over Catella Boulevard, only 60 feet off the ground, in between the little small 5-story buildings right there, and it's going right down the main street in the middle of Anaheim. And a police officer pulls up next to me. I got a big, just to make it more ridiculous, a huge glass Sherlock pipe piece in the hand. You know, back in the day. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm like 15, man. I never saw nothing like this before, man. I'm just like locked on it. And a police officer comes up and goes, what the hell are you guys doing? And I'm like, and he looks at it, he turned and looked at it, and didn't look back at me once. He got right back in his car and peeled out the parking lot and did. So I blocked that experience out of my mind because it was so like otherworldly, and that for like 4 years, man, like my current mind, like, remember that? Did that together? He's like 6 years older than me, you know what I mean? The moment business, whatever. Remember that happened? I was like, yeah, it did happen, man. And so etc. But the coincidence came together. I even have another third-party police officer.
Right, because then you're like, it happened.
Yeah, it's crazy, more ridiculous. With all that,
Who here has actually seen a UFO? I'm curious. Really? You know,
I mean, mine wasn't like that. It was a light at night, which moved, but I would call you. But as far as like your experience, or I had a friend of mine, he was driving back, he came to my house to smoke, ironically. He shows up and he's like, dude, I fucking saw a UFO. And he's like frantic, right? I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I didn't see anything. He's like, no exaggerator. I was like, it was a plane or something. Whatever. So he keeps going at it. He doesn't want to stop talking about it. 20 minutes later, my ex-girlfriend at the time, she gets a call from one of her friends. So he explains there was an intersection, one up there on 4th Street on Long Beach. He said people like stopped and were looking at it, right? And then it just like took off. And so I'm like, whatever, dude, you're lying, whatever. Whatever. And my ex-girlfriend gets a call from one of her friends, her good friends. And she's like, oh my god, you're not gonna believe this. I just fucking saw a UFO. It was exactly the same cross street. And it's like, as she told me that, I looked back at it and I was like, man, okay, I believe you now, like you saw it. But if it wasn't for that call, I would just be like, you're not, you didn't see anything or whatever.
Here's an interesting thing.
So we can like move into the music as amazing as
I like the music, it's kind of X-Files, she said. So.
Yeah, well, and Jason has to leave too.
Oh, come on.
And so, I can share like one quick crazy story. Like, this is one with Tyler. I don't know if you can remember this. 2 nights in a row, it was so weird. It was so crazy. So we're at Tesla Tech in Albuquerque. It was the second night after it ended, we're staying up at this house up in the mountains.
Albuquerque.
Overlooking downtown Albuquerque. I mean, it's not even down, it's just Albuquerque. And Tyler, and I can't remember who else.
It was me, you, and his young sister who was there.
Oh yeah. And you guys were facing me, and I was out looking through the glass doors on the second floor house, out with Albuquerque in the background, and all of a sudden, there's like, you guys have probably seen like a fireball come out of the sky, like meteor on fire. This one was massive. It was ridiculously massive. Biggest thing I've ever seen come out of the sky. And it was burning green. Green fire. And it was coming down. I'm talking to them, and so all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god! And like, they turn around just in time as this fireball's coming down. And literally, it was like 1,000, 2,000 feet above downtown Albuquerque. It was like right in the center of Albuquerque. I thought it was smash Albuquerque. We're gonna watch Albuquerque blow up. And then like, it gets within like that range, and all of a sudden it blows up. It blows up in the sky, creates this green giant explosion in the sky. I think you guys came around just to see the explosion, right?
Yeah. I saw it the next night where it was the same exact thing, but I think they were sleeping, and we were in this spaced out space. We were on some Tesla Tech dish, you know what I mean? We don't know what's gonna happen in a minute. Remember someone gave us that dish, we're like, this is from a UFO, bring it. We were just bringing it in. But I remember I was up late night, 3 in the morning, dude, and I'm looking up.
Lightning storms all night.
I'm looking up, and from above, as high as I can see in the sky, man, whatever. As high as I can see, you know what I mean? As high as I can see, this green ball, same thing as saying, comes down through the way high up there, through the clouds. house, and we're on the side of, bald ass crib overlooking the whole situation. It's coming down, and it hit the ground. And then it glowed gold. And it hit the ground. I was just like, man, I wish we can go over there. Everyone else is sleeping. It's like, oh, what is that shit? It's right next door to Los Alamos Lab. It's one of those interesting places on the planet. But it's like, I started a new lit business cats far out the cat. No one can really, but that shit happens, man.
Yeah, the green fireballs is a phenomenon in New Mexico. It's really interesting.
Ionized.
Yeah.
Ionized.
Well, yeah.
Straight northern lights, like some really high charged.
It's pretty crazy.
That's not the, I've never heard of an asteroid or meteor do that. They burn and they don't electrify and that.
Right.
That's a green lantern. It's
So it's like a typical thing?
I've seen those right in the.
There's not common. There are reports in New Mexico of that same phenomenon.
Yeah, in Texas.
I was driving from Colorado back to Los Angeles. It was about 3 in the morning, and just outside of Albuquerque. We were just talking about it. When we were driving to U-Haul, we saw one burst of green light, just like that. You guys were just driving, and then another one, about 30 seconds to a minute later. And I wasn't really watching. I was driving at the time. I think he said he saw one hit the ground.
You couldn't find anything to do. No one else saw it. Like, how did people not see that? That was
That's what my point was going to be. I remember you saying something about Gregor or somebody where they would have like 20 people, but not everybody saw it. Like everybody's staring at it, but because you're at a different frequency or you're just not in the same alignment with that octave, there's 20 people and only 10 see it. And they're all like, look, it's right there. They're like, I don't see anything.
There's one experience, everybody saw, 45 people, everybody that was there saw this freaking thing. We had September 6th, 2008. So Mount Shasta with Dr. Stephen Greer. And I'm like, I want to see some shit, like this stuff for real. Oh my God. Oh, please let me see something. Apparently that day was the last day of the C-SETI and Dr. Greer talk, and that was the biggest event that he'd ever had in any talk. There was this, we had this 3rd generation night vision scope, like military grade night vision. And out of the mountain comes this light, like out of the
Literally.
mountain, not like a little fake portal opens up, it's just like this light coming out of the mountain. And it's a disc shape, and it has lights all around the center with a dome on top, and then one strip of vertical lights, which I assume would be the back end of it. Lights around the rim, one thing there. Everybody saw it, everyone passed around the night, it lasted for 2 hours. This thing, and it went over and hovered in the woods, maybe like 3 miles in line sight, right from where we were. This thing was just turning clockwise, hovering above the ground. Like this, that's not just a ball of light. You can see the shape of this metal flying saucer clockwise, hovering over the ground. And it shot balls of light. Like in our general direction. Is this for real? Like I didn't drink any Kool-Aid. Everybody see this?
Were these balls of light?
Just like it looked like like a laser beam, like you're like a laser pointer right now, shooting a ball.
I went out there with Chicago
And then stop where it would be in a tree,
shooting star.
really like somebody in a tree with a colored light. That's the only way it's possible. That's insane. A month later, after that, I'm at my house and I'm doing like this C-SETI meditation, mantras and stuff for 5.5 hours with my camera on my lap.
I get to meet Jimmy.
Okay, I'm ready. It's 5.5 hours nonstop. So I'm like, okay, I finally gotta go to the bathroom. My friends came in, I have like 5 friends come in. What's up, guys? It's like Friday night. What up, guys? I put my camera down. I walk over to my door. I get 1 foot inside. Jason, look, Jason. Above my house, about the size, a little smaller than a full moon. It's this white light. It came down from the sky and then it went over my house. 6 of my 5 of my sides. And
I even got the laptop.
what am I doing?
It's down the road.
Into the freaking horizon, like, as far as the eye can see,
Yeah, that's the thing, like in the video.
I dove on my stomach for the camera.
And I think I'm regular.
Fumbling, I finally turned it on, and as I turned it on, the light was at the very distance, like a plane.
Yeah, I'm just whining about straight home.
I couldn't get 5.5 hours. And then finally, as soon as I put the camera down, somebody, that's my name, Rare is real. This stuff is real because how is some CIA government gonna know when I'm meditating and then do that? Like, whoa.
Hey, where are you from? Where are you from?
Frisco,
From where?
San Francisco. Yeah, for the bed.
That's where my brother's on.
I just want to say, I love all you guys. Thank you for coming. And we should have a group hug.
That's crazy.
I think the odds of the
You gotta get in the group hug, brother. Get in the group hug.
Don't the pressure.
Everyone's gotta get in. We got 2 more back there. 2 more back there. You can't escape.
Right.
3 more. There we go. Come on.
Thank you everyone for
Yeah,
volunteering.
thank you.
It's so amazing.
Thank you for organizing this, man. This is great.
Yeah. Thank you, Gregor.
And keep in contact with us, email each other, and keep on it on Facebook and all that stuff. This is ongoing.
Keep being dorky.
Right?
This is y'all.
Yeah, it's time to get guys.
Yeah.
Wow.